guys, welcome back to Dimitra's Dishes. So today I'm going to teach you how to make Prassopita, which translates to leek and feta cheese pie. It's another Greek pie that's so fabulous, it's inexpensive to make, and it's super delicious. Now you might have seen leeks in the supermarket and you might have just passed them by because I don't know why they're not commonly used around here. But maybe that's because people don't know what to do with them or how to clean them. I'm going to begin by teaching you how to do that. But first, let's go over all the ingredients. So we're making a big leek pie that's going to fit in this big baking tray. So I'm using 6 leeks. We're going to need some scallions, feta cheese, some fresh mint, some eggs, dill, salt, pepper, olive oil, and feta cheese. And then I should also mention that in this dish later on, we're going to also use sesame seeds and some breadcrumbs for layering the pie, which we'll get to in a little bit. Leeks have a very mild and almost sweet onion flavor. They're really nice to use in soups and quiches. And as a matter of fact, you can use this filling that we're going to make using these in so many different recipes. But really what you want to do when you get your leeks first is chop off this green, very fibrous part. You can save it and use it for making stocks, but it's too tough to eat or to even use in this recipe. I have a bowl with cold water and I'm going to cut off the part that has the root and I'm going to slice them down the center. And I'm just going to chop them into half moons. So we're putting them in cold water so that way all the dirt sinks to the bottom. And then we're going to strain the water out and the leeks will be nice and clean and ready. If you notice that your water has a lot of dirt on the bottom of it, make sure to take the leeks out by lifting them out and putting them first into a colander. My leeks are pretty clean, but if you were to see a lot of dirt and grit and sand on the bottom, then as soon as you take the leeks out, spill this water, put some more cold water in a bowl, put the leeks back in, and keep doing that until the water is clear and the leeks don't have any more sand in them. I'm going to continue to cut the rest of my leeks and then we're going to move on to the next step. So I just chopped up all my leeks and rinsed them and strained them and everything, put them in my pot. I'm going to put this over high heat. So we're going to cook the leeks with about a 1/4 cup or so of olive oil and a little bit of salt for about 10 minutes, making sure to go in and stir them very often so that way they don't burn. They're going to shrink down a lot. So once they cook, they're going to wilt down and the pot is not going to be that full. While those are going, I'm going to chop up my scallions. So I'm just going to finely slice these scallions. And we clean them the same exact way we did the leeks. I first put them in a bowl of cold water. And then I move them around to release any dirt. And I strain them really well before I'm going to add them in. So once the leeks cook for 10 minutes and wilt down, their juices should also dry up in the pot. I'm going to go ahead and add my scallions in and let them cook for another 5 minutes. Okay, so after about between 3 to 5 minutes, depending on the heat, this is what this mixture is going to look like. We're going to remove it off the heat. Once it cools down, we're going to add the rest of the ingredients in. So we just have to wait a little while because it has to be completely cool because eggs are going into this. So you just want to let the mixture cool down until it's about room temperature. And then we're going to add our feta cheese in here. And we're going to season it a little bit more with salt and pepper. So feta is salty and briny. And the last thing you want to do is make this filling too salty. So we'll just add the salt and the pepper after we put the feta in. Now, the recipe calls for 1 pound of feta, but I had this little extra chunk, about 4 ounces of feta that I had laying in my refrigerator, and I thought, who doesn't appreciate a little bit of extra cheese in their life? So we're just going to mix it all up. And I didn't even have to transfer it into another bowl. So the feta doesn't have to be too crumbly. It doesn't have to be all the same size. You could have some bigger chunks in there. I just love getting a bite of pita or pie that has a big chunk of feta in it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to chop up this fresh mint. Mint and leeks go so well together. They just brighten it up and add that really nice fresh aroma. So to me, a leek is like a bigger scallion. So it's even milder in onion flavor. And it's really nice. It almost has a slight cabbage flavor. So we're going to put our mint in there. I don't have any fresh dill, but I always have dried dill in my pantry. So I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of dill. If you have fresh dill, then go ahead and chop some up, maybe about a 1/4 cup or so. It's your preference, whatever you like. Now, before we add the eggs in, I'm going to taste it. Needs a little bit more salt. And now that it's cooled down and the steam has subsided, there actually is no steam left. Now we can go in and do the pepper. So now we can go in with the pepper. Once, when the steam is rising, when it's really nice and hot, it kind of sticks the pepper to the pepper mill and it doesn't come out easily. So I like to wait till the end to add freshly ground pepper in there. And leeks and black pepper are really, really good together, and I like to add a lot. Add as much as you like, people. You don't have to add a lot if you don't like a lot of pepper, but it's totally up to you. Give it a nice mix. And now we're just gonna beat our eggs together, add them in, and the filling is ready just like that. That's it. Now we're just gonna mix it all up until it combines. And we have our leek and feta filling ready to go inside our pie. So now we're just gonna take a little bit of oil and just grease our baking pan. Now I've never bought this brand of Phyllo, so let's see how it goes. I ran out of the brand that I usually buy. I usually buy the number 4 Phyllo, which gives you really, really thin sheets and a lot of sheets. If you buy the thicker Phyllo, you're gonna get fewer sheets, but it doesn't matter. You're gonna see why in a minute. Yeah, these are cut in half, so it'll work out anyway. So I'm gonna take about 5 sheets and line the bottom of the pan, the bottom center. Then I'm gonna take some olive oil and just drizzle it over the top. You don't have to brush each layer. And then I'm gonna add some breadcrumbs. What the breadcrumbs are gonna do, they're gonna help keep the bottom layers of the Phyllo nice and crisp because the leeks do release a lot of water. I'm gonna take some more Phyllo sheets and take them and have them hang half in and half out at about the 3 o'clock position. If you're looking at this as a clock, you're going to 3 o'clock right now. Then we're going to go to 6 o'clock and take another batch of Phyllo. Now, if you were using the bigger sheets, you would have to just do 1 layer per side, just like that. And we're going to do another tablespoon of breadcrumbs. Now we're going to go to 9 o'clock, right there. Some olive oil in there. Do half of the 12 o'clock side. In and out. Again, if you were using the bigger sheets, you would just take a bunch of the big sheets and just do on one side, but I'm going to have to do half and half because it doesn't cover it all. A little bit more the breadcrumbs. Just 1 more layer down there. Now I'm just going to take all of this beautiful filling, here it is, and I'm just going to put it in the center of the pie, all of it. So just spread the filling out evenly. Then we're just going to cover the filling. Keep drizzling oil over the layers of Phyllo. And then we're just going to keep layering, drizzling some olive oil in between the Phyllo layers until all the Phyllo runs out. Now we're just going to drizzle the remaining olive oil all over the top. And at this point you can go in with your brush and just carefully brush it all over the top. And don't worry at all if the Phyllo tears a little bit. It's quite perfectly fine. I'm going to cut this into entree size portions. So I'm going to get 12 portions out of this. And we do that just like this. Then go down the center. There we go. And then it's totally optional. If you have black sesame seeds, use the black ones. I have these white sesame seeds. I'm just going to sprinkle about a tablespoon or 2 on top. I'm going to pop this into my oven that's preheated at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to let this bake for about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes or until it's beautifully golden on top. So the pie took an hour and 10 minutes to bake exactly at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. It's beautiful and golden. Take a look at it. Before you cut into it, you want to make sure that it sets for at least 15-20 minutes before you cut into it. This is a perfect autumn dish to make. Leeks are in season in the fall. They're in the supermarkets and they're so fresh and delicious. And now that you know how to use them, you want to go on over and buy some and just make this delicious pie. Serve it. If you're making a big batch, like I said, make it in this big lasagna tray. If not, then cut everything in half, all the portions in half, and make it in a 9 or 10 inch round deep dish pie dish. It'll be just as delicious. Now, you could also add some pine nuts in this if you wanted to add some crunch to it. You can saute some mushrooms and put those in there as well. So look out for a mushroom and leek hand pie that I have coming up in a couple episodes soon. I'm gonna bite into this. You hear that crispy crunch? That's what you want to hear. That means that the phyllo is perfectly cooked. Each bite of this just reminds me of Greece, and that makes me super happy because that's probably my favorite place in the world to be, especially in the summertime. The feta is creamy and it's salty, and it goes perfect with the mild onions, the mild leeks, and the scallions that are in here. You guys should definitely go over to the website www.dimitrasdishes.com. Make this, share pictures with me on Facebook because I love to see your recreations of these dishes. If you haven't already purchased the brunch table, that's my cookbook. It's available on as a paperback on Amazon, and then it's also available as a digital download on my website, dimitrasdishes.com. There are so many delicious pies in here. There's the Greek-style chicken and phyllo pie. We have my famous Prassopita recipe in here. I have little beef turnovers. There are lots of dishes in here that are going to help make entertaining super easy. Like I said, download the book. Leave comments in the comment section below and let me know what you think. Thank you guys for spending time with me today, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.